Hello again. This is Victor James, author of the Megacosm, and I want to talk about the movie Striking Rescue. This utterly disappointing movie, Striking Rescue. Now, I'm a big Tony Jaa fan. I have been a Tony Jaa fan since let's go back. So I've been a Tony Jaa fan since I want to say, all right, yeah, 2020, 2003. So me and my friends, we got together. We all went like at least six deep and watched On Bak the Warrior at the theater, and we loved it, man. So I was just been a fan of his since. So if you count like man, the Bodyguard and the Protector, and all the other Bach movies and Protector 2. I probably have about 6 or 7 of his movies on physical DVD. So when I saw, the trailer for Striking Rescue, I was for it, man. I was so hype. I was like, yes, Tony Jaa is back. He's starring in a role again. He's being the star character, and it looked fantastic. It looked great. And I actually wrote an article about it. That's how excited I was. I wrote an article about it, like, yes, Tony Jaa is back. This is the Tony Jaa we know and love. So I was just utterly disappointed in Striking Rescue. It just really wasn't that good, and I think I know why. So if you go to On Bak, to the IMDb page, if you scroll all the way down near the bottom, you can see the country of origin was Thailand. So if you go to Striking Rescue, you go scroll all the way down here, you can see the country of origin was China. So this was made by the communists. And I'm not trying to say China can't make good martial arts movies. They actually do. I know the top dog these days are making the most. And I actually wrote an article about Sakura, which was starring Donnie Yen. They came out in 2023. Thought this was fantastic. Was great. Great movie. Go watch that movie if you can. Sakura was really good. And that's Chinese made. So it's nothing to do against China. But China and Thailand have two different styles of making martial arts movies. China is more style over substance. They like CGI. They like colorful powers. They like wire fu. And Thailand is the total opposite. Thailand is more brutal. They like to have stuntmen who could take bumps. They have martial artists at every level of the movie, skilled martial artists at every level of the movie. So it looks authentic, and that lends itself to Tony Jaa's style. China's doesn't. China likes that, like I said, flashy style over substance. And Tony Jaa is a meat and potatoes kind of guy. He's a beat 'em up kind of guy, and his style just does not lend itself to Chinese directing. And I think that's the main issue with Striking Rescue, is that it's just not Tony Jaa's style of movie. And it should have been. I mean, if you go up to the top there, let's go ahead and read the synopsis. So a veteran Muay Thai expert goes on a take no prisoner mission of revenge after his wife and daughter are brutally murdered by mysterious forces. And that is a good premise for a martial arts movie. It should have been wall-to-wall fights and action. And that's what I thought I was getting. And that's just not the case. So I know people who like it, they're like, oh yeah, the action scenes are so good, they're great. And there are spatterings of good fight scenes here and there, but they're over really quick, especially the ones starring Tony Jaa. Like they're over, in a snap. And there's some other longer ones, but if you go back and look at it, the co-stars and the other actors are fighting more than Tony Jaa is. Somebody needs to tell Siyu Ching that yes, allow Tony Jaa to fight in a Tony Jaa movie. He just does not put on the display of Tony Jaa fighting that I am used to. I mean, there's a couple of scenes here and there. I guess I'm not gonna lie, there are a couple of scenes here and there where he puts on a show, but they're just not that great. The acting was just, and also the acting was not that great. This woman, Bo Ping, she kind of plays like the hammer girl in Raid 2, but instead she has two axes. And she's just over the top. She's trying to be too comical, too funny, and she's just like this cartoon villain. It just throws you off. And her skill is just not on the same level as the Hammer Girl. You can tell she's slower, and they're kind of holding back to let her catch up. So I'm not sure why they didn't give it to someone who actually has more skill. But if you're gonna copy, if you're gonna copy the Queen, you got to do a way better job than that. And that just goes along with this whole movie. It really was really boring. I found myself scrolling, scrolling through my email, checking my website, editing my book. I mean, I had checked out because the story just wasn't that great. It basically went like this. They would go and capture a guy, fake torture him. He would tell them a whole bunch of information that would, after just one like torture scene or fake torture scene, and he would just give them all the details they need to go to the next guy, and then they would knock him out. And this happened at least 4 or 5 times in the movie. It was just the most basic structure of a movie that you can find, and it was just boring. I've never been so disappointed in a Tony Jaa movie. I mean, I actually bought this physical movie. I'm not gonna lie. I bought the DVD sight unseen because the trailer was just that good to me, and I have never disliked a Tony Jaa movie. So I was like, all right, at least, the fights will be good. I don't, at the bare minimum, the fights will be good. And they just weren't. They just weren't. There's just something about them. I don't know if it was the fake. They threw too many guns in there. They just didn't let Tony Jaa fight. And that was just very disappointing. So I'm just very disappointed in this movie. That's all I can say about Striking Rescue. I would not recommend it to my friends. I would not recommend it to you. Just don't even watch it, because it's just going to ruin your thoughts of how good Tony Jaa can be. And I hope Tony Jaa goes back to Thailand and rebuilds their industry, because for a while there, especially in the early 2000s, Thailand was about to take over the martial arts, film industry with, the Raid, Ong Bak, Protector, and all those other ones. They were on poised to take over the martial arts industry. And I don't know what happened, but we want their brutal style of martial arts. We crave guys who could take a hit. We want those stuntmen who are actually getting kicked because they can take it and they know how to jump from a 3-story building. I want those guys who can do that. And only Thailand can do that for us. I mean, I know Hong Kong, martial arts can do that as well, but Thailand just took it to another level of brutality, and I want that back. So I hope, Tony Jaa goes back to Thailand and does this thing and just rebuilds their industry. But I'll go ahead and, that's all I want to say about Striking Force. So as usual, you can buy my book, Fiasco Adventures. I have it available on Kindle for $9.99. I also have it on paperback for $13.67. I only have 2 left. They're selling pretty good these days, guys. So thanks for people for buying it. I only have 2 left at this price point. So if you're going to buy it for $13.67, go ahead and get it now. You can also go to my website, themegacosm.com. I have the first chapter of Fiasco Adventures on my website for free. So you can go ahead and read the first chapter. If you like the first chapter, just go ahead and buy the book. And I also want to give a shout out to my friend Winston, who actually opened a bookstore in New Mexico called Enchanted Books. And he actually has physical copies of my book there. So if you're in New Mexico and you want to go to an awesome bookstore that caters to independent authors, like I said, featuring local independent authors, my book is there. You can go ahead and ask Winston, hey, I want to get Fiasco Adventures. Tell him I sent you there and give his bookstore a try. But that's all I got to say about this. God bless you and keep you. That's it.